So the last stanza that we have come up to, let me just read out the stanza. It says that here is a cart run away in the road, lumping along with man and load, and here is a mill, and there is a river, each a glimpse and gone forever. So the last stanza that the poet has mentioned about is the last scene that he sees while he's in the train, in a train journey, and he says that here's a cart. He's talking about a bullock cart. A cart is something is a carriage which is run by oxen, by two pairs of ox. So it's a bullock cart, and he can see that the bullock cart is full of load. Here he has mentioned a word called lumping. Here, lumping means it's something which is not uniform. Something that looks which is all covered up and loaded up. So he says, here is a bullock cart. Here's a cart run away in the road. In the middle of the road, while he's traveling, while he's moving forward in the train, he can see right at the side of the on the parallel road of the train, he can see a bullock cart which is driven by a pair of oxen, and it is walking, and it is moving in the middle of the road. And what he sees in the bullock cart is that it's overloaded. It's full of material, of carriage, of load. And on top of the load, there's a man who's sitting. Perhaps he's talking about the man who's moving the bullock cart. The man who's responsible for all that. And man, maybe he's going to sell something. He's going to the market, or he's going to buy some. He must have purchased something. But he can understand it, and if you can experience the pain of the poet, that he's saying that it's an overloaded bullock cart, and on top of that, that man is also sitting, and the bullock cart has been driven, lumping along with man and load, walking very heavily with difficulty. It is not an easy job and he's feeling sorry for the pair of oxen. And here is a mill, and there is a river. And while he crossed that scene where the bullock cart and the pair of oxen, they're moving with a lot of difficulty, carrying that load, and the man on top of that, the poet has crossed that experience, and he can see a watermill in the olden days. As I said, that this poem was written in the days when steam engines used to run. He's talking about a watermill. Most of the mills that we used to have in earlier times were not electric. This is when there was no form of electric mills. Right now we have all the mills are most of the mills and most of the technologies are run on electricity. So this is a watermill. Watermill is usually a mill. You must have, if you have ever get a chance, you can ask your grandparents or your mom. She must, or your parents, they must have seen or experienced when they were young. So it usually used to be run by with the current of the river, with the flow of the river, and the mill used to run with the pressure, with the speed of the water which is coming with the speed, and that water speed used to run the mill, and that was how your flour and all your grains were ground. So here's a watermill, and there's a river, and then after the watermill, because there's a watermill, so the poet can see a river also. So perhaps that is the source of the watermill, and that is how this watermill used to work. And each a glimpse and gone forever. All these experiences that the poet has started, the first experience that he started when he experienced the first time when the train moved, and as he said that the train is moving as fast as if flying like fairies and witches, and the last experience where he's seeing the watermill and the river, all these experiences are not permanent experiences. He's looking at it momentarily, you know. Even if you are trying to put yourself in this situation, there are times when you may have missed something, and then someone must have said, "Oh, did you see that?" And maybe you were trying to look back, but it's gone. But because the poet is a travel writer, and he loves to experience and loves to narrate all those experiences in the form of poetry, you can see that he has not missed much of his train voyage, and that is why he has so much to narrate, so much to write in this poem. But the last thing that he says, that everything is like a glimpse. It's like a wink of an eye, as if you're just blinking your eye. It's like a short dream. And whatever he experienced is gone. And gone forever. It is never going to come back. He may not find that young boy again even if he repeats the same travel journey, train journey. He may not see those women making garlands of daisies. He may not see the raindrops, the speed of the train. He may not see all those experiences. So, in the end, what we can understand from this poem is that it's a travel poem, and he has specifically mentioned all different forms of nature, the beauty of nature, immense beauty of nature that sometimes we as human beings try to foresee, avoid, neglect, and just miss that golden opportunity to appreciate nature, to thank God for that. And at the same time, these small instances or experiences of human encounter that the poet has mentioned very beautifully in this poem. So I hope that this explanation will help you to make your own notes, and I hope that you'll follow the rules. Please make notes while I'm explaining. You can always pause and repeat the video and make your notes in your book with a pencil, so that will help you to make your own notes when you are completing your notes in your notebook, in your copy. The other thing that I want to mention is that I'm going to send a photo of this poem also, so that you can write it down and write it in your own words. It'll be helpful for you to write answers and the summary also. Tomorrow I'm going to upload another video, and we are going to discuss the question answers, and so that'll be the end. But at the same time, I'm going to mention a deadline, as in when are you supposed to write. You have to write everything in your copies, and so that I know what was there done when, even though we cannot meet, but then the next time when we meet face to face or physically, you should be ready with your homework and your assignments. So before I wind up, I'm just going to tell you what you will do after reading this poem and going through this video. I want a beautiful summary, and let me just rub the first portion. So summary writing is basically when you're writing everything in a confined way, in a gist. So usually, particularly in poetry, one of the most important aspects of poetry writing is when you are in a position to write everything in a short form, so that the reader can understand, as in what did you understand from the poem and what was going on in the poem. So summary writing is something which is written in a short form in beautiful 9 to 14 lines. This is the format. So please remember, every time whenever you are writing a summary for any form of poetry, you have to follow this format. So 9 to 14 lines, nothing more than 9 to 14 lines, either 9 or 14 lines. So this is how you start a summary. So you can write the poem, and then you mention the name of the poem, and then you write written by, mention the name of the poet or the poetess, tells us about, and then you start the story about whatever you want to write about the poem. Right at the bottom right hand corner, where once you finish the summary, you'll write the name of the poet or the poetess in capital letters. In this scenario, you'll write Robert Louis Stevenson. So please write a summary in 9 to 14 lines in your copy. Mention the date, as in today, so that it'll be easier for me to check. And the next video that I'll upload tomorrow, we'll discuss the question answers and figures of speech. I hope you understood, you were clear, and hope this was helpful in a way where you could start your assignments and your classwork while you're sitting at home. So till then, stay healthy and take care. Bye-bye.